What is going on, guys? Today I bring you round 2 of the National Amateur Championship, and this game I was playing against a 1788 rated player, so very strong player, and had the white pieces. So let's see how the game went. So I started with d4, my opponent goes knight f6, I go bishop f4. The London system, pretty much what I've been playing in these tournaments. Although I kinda either play bishop f4, or knight c3, bishop f4, which is slightly different. But here I decided to go for the more typical London. So my opponent goes g6, the fianchetto setup here, knight f3, bishop g7, c3, castles, knight bd2, and yeah, here my opponent goes d6. So I am developing this way, and I'm waiting with the e-pawn because in the case of the game, for example, that my opponent goes for this King's Indian setup, I don't really want to play e3 because that's kind of slow. If I can play e4, I should play e4 because I'm getting more space and it's better. And when your opponent plays the King's Indian, it kind of allows you to get that space, so you should take it. So yeah, here my opponent goes d6, I go h3 though. I don't go e4 directly, and this is kind of an inaccuracy, honestly. The idea behind h3 is to prevent knight h5, but in the case that I went e4, my opponent really didn't have knight h5 because I can always go to e3. So I guess h3 is kind of a waste of time when I could just go e4. But it's not the end of the world, right? It's still fine. h3 and my opponent goes knight fd7, which I felt like it was very weird. Here I thought for a long while because like I've never seen this move. Normally people just play knight bd7, which for me it makes way more sense, like you're developing another piece and preparing e5. But here my opponent goes knight fd7, okay. And yeah, here I complicated matters. I think I should have just gone e4, honestly. And yeah, shouldn't be afraid of e5. I mean, here we can even like trade everything on e5, and maybe this is not what I want because this is kind of ends up being very equal and dry. But yeah, I was definitely confused here with this knight fd7, and I played bishop g5, which was kind of a provocation because, of course, he can't play e5 directly, and I assumed that if he went knight fd7, he kind of wanted e5 quickly. But here, like, this move is just another waste of time, another bad move, because here my opponent just goes queen e8, and he's gonna play e5 anyway. So yeah, this is already a very weird position, honestly. We're like, this is already not. This opening already went wrong for me, definitely. So here I play e4, of course, and my opponent breaks with e5. And here I play another questionable move. I play another bad move. Like this opening, like this was one of the openings where I played my worst, honestly. I played queen b3, which... What is this queen actually doing on b3? Like, shouldn't I be developing my pieces first? Like, bishop d3 maybe, or bishop e2. Maybe I can even go bishop c4, I guess. Bishop c4 kind of does the same job as queen b3, because my idea with queen b3 was to sort of stop f5. Although why, like, black is still has to take off this knight, move this knight somewhere, and maybe develop another piece, and then he's gonna play f5. He's just not gonna play f5 in the next move. That like doesn't really make much sense. But yeah, bishop c4 would probably do the job, honestly. If my idea was to play stop f5, I could just play bishop c4 castle. But for some reason I decided to go queen b3, and here my opponent plays a move that the engine doesn't like, but I feel like it's a very strong move, and yeah, I was very surprised. Here my opponent just plays a5, and I thought this was very strong, because the idea is to just question my queen, saying like, what is your queen really doing on b3? Like, does your queen really want to stay on b3? Because I'm gonna kick it with a4 and just winning space for free. And yeah, I realized that after a5, I thought that a5 was just refuting my queen b3 move, and I feel like I still believe that just like a5 was a very strong move. Here I knew that I had to develop the rest of my piece, so I was undecided. I didn't really know if I should go bishop d3 or bishop e2, but in the end I ended up going bishop d3 to kind of overprotect e4 in case the center opens. And here my opponent goes a4. So very pretty much normal move. I was expecting this. And here I played another bad move. I played queen c4, and this is really asking for trouble, guys. Like, obviously I should have just gone queen c2 and just accept that my position is kind of weird and that my opponent is, if he's not better, is at least like perfectly fine, because like my pieces just look weird. He has more space than me, and honestly has more development than me. Maybe not more, but maybe equalish, because he still has to develop this whole queen side, and I still have to castle. But yeah, uh, but here I decided to be very, very, very provocative and play queen c4. Here my threat is just to take on c7. But yeah, my opponent just says, yo, I'm just gonna develop. I'm just playing simple chess. Pretty much my opponent says that to me with this knight c6 move. And here I kind of understand that I'm in huge trouble already, because suddenly if I do a like natural move like castles, here I am already losing my queen. Very simple. Knight b6 attacking my queen. The only square that I have is b5, and then rook a5 traps my queen, and I have to give up my queen. So yeah, I'm just lost. So I realized this, so I can't castle, so I have to waste another tempo moving the bishop away, so I make a square for my queen. My opponent, of course, plays knight b6, and I play queen d3. And here, yeah, like the engine already gives like -2 for black. There's a move that just kills. There's actually like two moves that kind of um, kill me, 2-3 moves. And I challenge you guys to pause the video and try to find the best continuation for black, the best combination. And yeah, just take your time if you want, pause the video and try to figure out what's the winning move slash idea for. Hope you're enjoying the video. I just wanted to point out quickly that 82% of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed, and I would highly appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button. Thank you. So yeah, um, my opponent played f5, which is a bad move here, um, you know, but the correct move would have been d5, and d5 would have been like a knockout blow. d5 is a very, very strong move, kind of a brilliant move here. And the simple idea is that I'm threatening to just blow up the center. And let's say you do the most natural move, which is just to take the pawn. Here you're already losing your queen after bishop f5. I mean, queen b5 runs into the same idea with rook a5. And queen e3 loses to knight takes d5, and the queen has no squares. So you can't take on d5. So let's say you castle and you kind of ignore all your problems, Here the computer says h6, bishop b3, and f5, and boom. Like suddenly, like there's way, like this position just like funny, because, I mean, black is just having all the fun. Like black is threatening to simply take here and win a piece. Black is threatening to push f4 and trap your bishop, like our bishop. So like there's nothing. Like black like is already completely winning. It's crazy. So yeah, d5 is a very strong move, but let's say white does the best job trying to defend here. D takes e5, and here there's already like a another very strong move, but this is like super hard to spot if you're not like super strong master or something like that. This next move for black is just completely, it looks completely insane, but it's so good. And the move is a3. And a3 is like, what is a3, bro? Like, why didn't you just capture the pawn? Why do you have to put a3 on the board? I mean, if I saw this move, honestly, I would have probably just played b3 and say, okay, I don't understand a3. I mean, b3, I just prevent this knight from coming to c4. What is your idea? And the idea is that after a3, b3, let's say, which I feel like it's natural, knight takes on e5, attacking the queen, so you have to take back. And now queen takes on e5, double attack on the pawn and on the bishop. You're losing material here. It's pretty much GG. So yeah, I mean, taking on a3 runs into the same tactic. Let's say you just play rook b1, for example. Here, let's say the same exact thing happens. And here, okay, you just have to move your bishop and you're not losing c3. So everything looks fine. Let's say bishop e3 is very natural. Here, after d takes on e4, I assume that you would take here, trying to alleviate the pressure. Trade queens and you, I mean, okay, I'm fine, right? Maybe you're not that fine. Bishop f5, pinning the knight because of the rook here. And let's say you just protect with f3. Now comes a takes b2. And you can't really take this pawn, because if you take this pawn, bishop takes e4, and now I'm threatening already. Like bishop takes c3, check, winning the rook. I just capture your piece. And yeah, if you just, I don't know, like, don't do anything, this pawn is already like hanging, and just everything is falling apart for white, which is like insane. This a3 move is insane. But yeah, this is kind of a deep idea. I guess everything revolves around this tactic. But my opponent didn't find this, thankfully for me. So queen d3, my opponent goes f5, and here my opponent just allows me to play d5, attacking his knight. He has to move the knight somewhere. And yeah, he moves it to e7. I was kind of afraid of him moving to b8, just because this bishop kind of feels a little bit, trapped. But I have bishop e3, worst case scenario, just maybe taking on this, on b6, and if my opponent goes here, I guess I have g3, and my bishop is no longer trapped, because on any f4 I can take and play bishop d4 and I'm fine. So yeah. But yeah, my opponent here goes knight e7, which I immediately just take off, because that the bishop is was almost trapped there. And after queen takes on e7, I finally cast. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can survive this now that I'm finally cast. Here my opponent plays f4, which the computer doesn't like at all. The computer wants to keep the tension and just bring the knight back, play bishop h6. But yeah, f4 just seems like a very natural King's-Indian idea, to just start the kingside expansion and just throw the pawns at the white king. Here I played what I feel like is it's a very strong move. Realizing that, okay, in this type of positions, black is attacking white's king side, so white should try to attack black's queen side, and it's a race. So here I just play b4, and b4 is a very nice move, very strong move, because here, I mean, black doesn't gain anything with en passant, actually just helps white. And yeah, here my opponent goes g5. And yeah, my opponent suddenly is going the wrong way, and I find a really good move, just a very nice touch. I play knight h2, And knight h2 is like a very, very strong move because it stops any h5 and it also threatens to play bishop g4 and trade these bishops off. Funnily enough, during the game here, after I played knight h2, my opponent was really upset. He was like he just didn't like, his face expressions told me that he wasn't satisfied with this position. Mind you, this whole game I was very stressed because I realized that my opening was super trash and I realized that I was in trouble like most of the game. So I was very nervous still because I just didn't know how to evaluate this position because I'm not used to playing these King's Indian games. So I didn't really have an idea of who was winning or who was better or like what to really do. I just knew that I have to expand on the queen side, but I didn't know how fast his attack would be and how dangerous it would be. And here my opponent, after I play knight h2, my opponent just he just plays knight bd7 and offers me a draw. And here I just think for like 1 minute and I take the draw and I'm like, and he's like, oh, he's also like, oh my god, and yeah, apparently here, I try to ask you guys, who do you think is better here? Who do you think is better, black or white? After, let's say, knight h2, knight bd7, when you offer the draw, who do you guys think is better? Here, the engine says that white is better. So it means that I shouldn't take the draw. But I didn't realize why white is better and why this knight h2 idea was so strong. And, after analyzing this game with stronger people and after understanding why, I was very surprised. Actually, these bishops, if I can trade my light square bishop for black's light square bishop, I have huge winning chances, and I'm almost playing for two results, either a draw or win for me. Because yeah, this bishop, this light square bishop for black is the most important piece in this type of positions. Just this is the crucial piece for a successful kingside attack here. And I didn't realize this. I played two excellent moves, b4 and knight h2, without even realizing how strong they were. And yeah, I didn't understand this position at all, honestly. I guess I just found this over the board, these ideas of b4 and knight h2. I didn't even see games with this type of ideas. And yeah, I didn't realize that I was really threatening to trade off these bishops, and that would give me a edge strategically. And yeah, I would end up playing c4, c5, rook c1, and I would be in really good shape. Let's say probably this rook, just to dodge this diagonal. But yeah, here I didn't realize how strong it was. And actually, I'm gonna tell you guys a secret that you guys can use for analyzing this type of positions, which my trainer taught me when we were doing some sessions, some lessons. So here, if for you guys to understand how good this dark square bishop is this light square bishop is compared to this one, you should just get the same position but without bishops on the board and see how the computer, the evaluation in the computer, and try to understand why. And here, with bishops on the board, the computer gives an advantage for white of 0.28 plus 0.28. So yeah, small edge. And I set up the same position here with without the bishops on the board, and here the computer gives white a 0.92 advantage. So a difference of almost a pawn, a difference of 0.7, which is huge. And yeah, this is kind of helps you realize how important strategically this bishop is for black, and if I manage to trade it off, I'm in really good shape. But yeah, this was the video. We ended up drawing. He offered me a draw, and I ended up taking it, which, yeah, in the end was the incorrect decision, but I don't know if I would have been able to finish him off. Also, we had like 20 something minutes on the clock. I think we were pretty similar on time, but we had some like 25, 27 minutes on the clock. And mind you, I was like, this is very hard when you're like losing throughout the game, from the opening into the middle game, and you are just holding on, trying to defend yourself, and all of a sudden, like, things turn around and you are better and you are the one pushing for the win. Like, it's hard to realize that and to be objective and to change your mind from, oh, I want to hold this, to I want to win. It's a very like human thing, and it's hard to do, but I'm trying to improve also that and to be more objective as the position changes. But yeah, this was the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think the position was very instructive and very interesting. And yeah, kind of a small game. It was only like 18 moves, I think. Yeah. So yeah, it was 18 moves, and yeah, I started the turn pretty strong, honestly. Drawing against a 1788 is a very good result for me, and yeah, so after getting a draw, I was very happy, and I was already winning a lot of elo from these two games. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and next game will also be a very nice one against a very strong player. Hope you guys stick around for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.